Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Historical Humans Reacts. And today we have to have one of the stupidest articles I have ever read, and something that I don't even know how it managed to pass any sort of government regulation, where a scientist sent ancient human fossils to space as a part of a publicity stunt. Partnered with Virgin Galactic, the fossils were sent alongside a South African businessman named Tim Nash, where they ended up sending specimens of Australopithecus,
Uh,
Sediba, and a Homo naledi specimen that were local to Johannesburg. They put in a case and they sent it to space.
yep. Now, the issues here are twofold. Number one is the lack of governmental regulation on the flight with allowing this flight to take place in the first place.
Well, to
The
be
amount
fair, the
of
South African government greenlit the permit to
yeah,
export this.
that's what I'm saying. They greenlit it. They greenlit it when they should. There is a massive amount of red tape around biologists, archaeologists, historians, all having access to these bones for the purposes of scientific study. This was a project not for the purposes of scientific study, in which these bones were put at risk of permanent destruction. That was signed off by the South African government. So that's the first issue right there, is the government signing off on it. The second issue comes down to treatment of human remains or near human remains. Um, the human race recognizes Australopithecus sediba and Homo naledi as ancestral species, uh, especially the Homo naledi bone,
Because it's in
as
the
that
hominid
is
species.
as that is a full hominid, which puts it one step on the one branch on the evolutionary track close to us, as opposed to Australopithecus, which is one step further back. And by step, we mean giant freaking leaps and bounds, but still.
Well, and the thing is, the scientist who got this exported, Mr. Berger, don't know where his first name is.
Yeah.
Um, but Berger had applied for an export permit where it was a shoulder bone and a finger bone to New Mexico, where the spaceport is located. And the application said that scientific studies might be conducted on the fossils, but it wasn't the main aim of the request, where it states major media partners will assist in using this once in a lifetime opportunity to bring awareness to science, exploration, human origins in South Africa, and its role in understanding humankind's shared African ancestry. And I truly do not understand how risking these fossils, God forbid there's an explosion, a crash, any sort of destruction, anything could happen in space exploration and these fossils are lost forever. I don't see how that benefits research whatsoever beyond just being a publicity stunt.
Yeah, and while public awareness is important for scientific research, it should not come at the expense of the science being researched. Of particular grievance is the Sediba fossil, which is the first shoulder bone of the species recovered, and is the reference point for identifying the species and that bone within the species. As such, it should be treated with the utmost respect and care and not subject to any risk of damage whatsoever insofar as we are humanly capable.
And there's just so many other things wrong with it, like the fact that one archaeologist at the University of Cape Town, Jonathan Saleh, mentions how this is very reminiscent of how a colonial and neo-colonial practices happened at African universities, where their European overlords would dictate how they would run their institutions and bend them to their will. This very much is reminiscent of that, where they're utilizing African heritage to try and progress a European cause.
Yeah. Um, you know, as much as you want, and you know, the shared human heritage, really brings in just treatment of remains. These are acknowledged as ancestral species. Therefore, they are endowed with a certain degree of personhood that requires reverence and respect that was not shown here by the company, especially in the comparisons that get made in this article. Particularly the one talking about how in the 80s, the human race sent dinosaur bones into space. Yes, dinosaur bones are also bones that went to space. However, they are not an ancestral species. They are an animal. We have been launching animals into space since we first figured out we could launch rocks into space.
I mean, the first two
It doesn't.
species were in space were a monkey and a dog.
Yeah. Does that make launching animals into space right? No, probably not. But it makes it less wrong than launching, endangered human remains.
Well, and then there's a secondary precedent that's also set that's very dangerous as well, where the head of the institution's curator of collections, Bernard Zipfel, said that the fossils were chosen because they had been extensively documented in 3D scans cast in photographs, aka they were expendable because we have a large database to sponsor them, and a archaeologist at the University College London, Rachel King, mentions, she basically says, if I document one of South Africa's World Heritage Sites, should we bulldoze it and put up a shopping mall? Like, just because we have it documented doesn't mean we should put it at risk of destruction. I mean, one of the fundamental things we learn as archaeologists, almost the first class you take in the field, is we are the stewards of history. We do not own it. We do not control it. We are in no way like the ultimate figure on it. We are just here to steward it for the future. We are here to learn about it and to preserve it so future generations can learn more about it so we can continue our progress forward.
Yeah, the purpose is to compile knowledge, add to knowledge, and ensure that all the knowledge you have gathered is passed on to someone younger than you. That is the purpose. The purpose is not to create a final statement on any one thing and then disregard that thing forevermore.
Or just to put it at risk by flying it into space.
Yeah. This is archaeology, not oil drilling. Though I don't expect a major corporation to know the difference.
And the thing that a lot of people are upset about more than anything is South Africa is usually a leader in the field of preservation and in cultural heritage. And this is just a shocking, stark contrast to the types of policies and things that they have been advocating for. So for them to make this retroactive, or this retrograde in their progress, it's disappointing to see. And a lot of things that, speaking outside of this article, that I've noticed just in the archaeology sphere, because I still am connected, a lot of archaeologists are upset because it's like, we go through hell and high water to try and study human remains. We go through a ton of care and caution to make sure they are properly maintained and respectfully curated. And then for some, pardon my French, but for some jackass to just take them and fly them to space.
Yep.
I don't know. I think this is the most pissed off you've seen me in an episode and the most ranty I've been, but this is truly irresponsible.
Yeah, and it's just, with the South African government, a plea that will truly be ignored. You had a chance to be so good at one thing, and you blew it. You gotta ask what you want to be known for. And being known as the government that endangers the fossils of its rare proto-human species is not one of them. You have enough bad looks as it is. You're a government.
All I'll say is props to the people who are speaking out against it and the professionals who are putting their names on the line to stand up for this injustice. Like, It's those people who are truly the change in our field and the ones who are going to be the future stewards for projects like this.
Yeah, we're a minor echo. I don't even know if we count as a drop in the bucket for the outcry against this, but it's good to see that people withstanding a lot higher than us are just as upset.
Yeah. And on that note, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next episode. Hopefully it's something a little less depressing.